Hey guys, just as a heads up, this isn't an example of what my content actually is going to be like or anything of that nature. This is kind of just a one-off video kind of explaining where I was towards the end of 2018, why I dropped off right after Quint Homecoming came around, and just a way of making my channel a little more mine, I guess, before 2019 starts. That being said, I just wanted to share my story, get this off my mind, start 2019 fresh, and hopefully somebody else in a similar situation will be able to hear this story and, you know, benefit from it. So, if you followed me anytime between 2018, you could tell that I was hot and cold throughout most of my streaming and content creation. I had weeks of highs and lows for sure, but I mean, I was at least somewhat active throughout most of the year, and then suddenly I dropped off. The truth of the matter is, I've been struggling with an alcohol problem since I was about 13 or 14 years old, and I kept the extent of the issue pretty much to myself for many years, but eventually it, as most problems like this do, grew so large that it just came to define my life. Okay. Alright, I give up on the cool guy jacket, it's too damn hot. There were a lot of reasons that I could give or come up with as to why I didn't get help. But in the end, it was mostly me, you know. I don't know if it was just self-denial, if it was embarrassment, if it was something else altogether. I really can't say for sure, but I denied it and I pushed it to the back of my mind and made it seem like it wasn't an issue, despite how many people who loved me told me that I was going through something and they didn't know what to do. And I didn't heed any of their words. And that was definitely one of the worst decisions I think I've ever made. In the end, as most people in my position, I didn't end up really making any major changes until, of course, my life hit a personal low. Because, well, that's the only time we ever seem to make changes, isn't it? The results of letting my problems get this far were destructive, to say the least, life-altering, and, you know, basically what you expect from the situation. On top of that, I also suffered from, or still suffer, I don't know, from depression, and I'm not sure if that was really caused by the alcohol or if it was before the alcohol. I'm really not sure. Still figuring that one out. But, you know, the combination of those two things don't really do you much good. You know, it did damage to my health, my finances, every part of my life, and the worst part is that it also hurt the people around me and the people I love. And at the end of the day, like everything else is kind of recoverable, but hurting the people you love is far harder to turn back, you know? I know I'm nobody important, I'm not a streamer, I'm not famous, I'm not a celebrity, I'm nobody of note, and my words probably don't mean anything to you, and that's fine. Hey, that's cool. But maybe someone else going through a similar situation will be able to see what I've gone through, see what I'm doing, and maybe find the inspiration to get help before it's too late, or before something horrible happens. And that being said, you know, I'm also putting this out here because I want 2018 to be over, in a sense. I want this person that existed in 2018 and before to stay there, and in 2019 become the person I'm supposed to be. And I'm not going to let this define me anymore. It is what it is. It happened. I'm, you know, working on, have gotten the help I needed, and I'm working on continuing through that process and making sure that it never happens again. So that's kind of why I'm putting this out there. You know, maybe this is just a way of holding myself accountable for the things I've done and the things I'm going to do in 2019, and making sure that I stay there. That being said, talking back to anybody else who may be in a similar situation, or may think they're in a similar situation, you know, I just want to say I know firsthand the kind of problems that leaving these issues unchecked can cause. And the reality is, there are people out there who are willing to help you. And if you think you're going through this situation, you could probably look back and think about what the people who actually love you have told you in the last maybe months or years or something or other. There's a very high chance that somebody's mentioned it to you at least a dozen times, and you've probably blocked it off in your mind. So if that's the case, maybe you might want to consider, you know, making a change and You don't have to feel embarrassed, you don't have to feel afraid, you don't have to feel ashamed. I don't. I'm more ashamed that I didn't get help earlier, and I'm more ashamed that I didn't make these changes earlier, because there's a lot of things that I could have done in my life that would have been much better than what I've done up until now. But again, can't change the past, you can only work on things from right now. So if you do find yourself in that position, try to get some help. Try to find somebody who can help you, and try to, change the path you're headed down, because it's a lot more beneficial to do it earlier rather than later. So I know this was a totally weird video. Everybody's probably wondering what the heck I'm doing, who even cares? I got you. But if you know anybody who might actually appreciate this video, might appreciate this story, send them a link. Maybe they can check it out, feel inspired, get some help. Who knows? That being said, I'm going to continue posting more information on what I'm going to be working on in 2019 in the days to follow. And 2019 should be a very busy year for KanraTaro. All in all, thanks for listening this long. Have a good one, and I'll catch you on stream.